You open your eyes, but there is no light. The ground beneath you is cold and damp. It smells like wet stone and something older, something mineral, something deep. The air is thick and still. It sits in your lungs like a weight. You don't remember how you got here. You remember a bed, a room, someone's voice, distant, fading. And then, nothing. A gap. And now this. You're standing on the edge of a river. The water is black and perfectly still. No current, no sound. The surface is so flat it looks solid, like dark glass stretched to the edges of a cavern you cannot see the end of. This is the Acheron, the river of woe. And according to the ancient Greeks, this is where every soul begins its journey through the land of the dead. A shape moves on the water, a boat, long, narrow, low to the surface. The figure standing at its center holds a wooden pole. He is tall, impossibly thin, draped in cloth that might have once been white but is now the color of ash. His face is hidden, his hands are skeletal. This is Acheron, the ferryman. He doesn't speak. He extends one hand, palm up, and waits. You reach into your mouth. Under your tongue, there is a coin, a small bronze obol placed there by whoever buried you. This was the custom in ancient Greece. The living placed a coin on the lips or tongue of the dead to pay for the crossing. Without it, the soul was condemned to wander the riverbank for 100 years, watching others pass. Archaeological digs across the Mediterranean have confirmed this practice. Coins found in the mouths of skeletons dating back to the 5th century. Before Common Era, a ritual so persistent it outlasted the civilization that created it. You place the obol in Acheron's hand. He closes his fingers around it without looking. The boat begins to move. There are no oars, no wind. The pole never touches the water. The boat simply drifts forward as if pulled by something below the surface. The only sound is the soft lapping of water against wood. The air grows colder. As you cross, you pass the mouths of 4 other rivers that feed into the darkness of the underworld. The Styx, the river of hatred, so toxic ancient legends said its waters could dissolve any vessel except one carved from the hoof of a horse. The gods of Olympus swore their most sacred oaths on its name, and any god who broke a vow sworn on the Styx was silenced for 9 years. Then the Cocytus, the river of lamentation. You hear it before you see it. A low, continuous sound, like wind through a canyon, except it isn't wind. It is the sound of wailing. The tears of the damned feed this river, and its current carries the echoes of grief so old that no one remembers whose grief it was. The Phlegethon, the river of fire. You feel its heat before it comes into view. A dull orange glow reflects off the cavern walls, and the air shimmers. This river does not carry water. It carries flame, a molten current that encircles Tartarus, the deepest pit of the underworld. In Plato's Phaedo, the Phlegethon is described as a boiling torrent that loops through the earth, heating the ground beneath volcanoes. And finally, the Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. Its surface is pale, almost luminous, and the water makes no sound at all. The souls who drink from it lose every memory of their earthly lives. Their names, their families, their joys, their pain, everything dissolves. In Virgil's Aeneid, Book 6, the hero, Aeneas watches thousands of shades lined up along its banks, waiting to drink and forget, so they can be reborn again, clean and empty, into new bodies. You do not drink. Not yet. The boat touches the far bank, and Acheron steps aside. You step onto solid ground, if it can be called ground. It is dark earth, packed and ancient, scattered with pale stones that give off no reflection. Ahead, a shape blocks the path. It is enormous. 3 heads, thick neck, 6 eyes that glow faintly amber in the dark. Cerberus, the hound of Hades. guardian of the gate. His function is simple. The dead may enter, no one leaves. In Homer's Iliad, Cerberus is mentioned only in passing, a beast so terrifying that even Heracles trembled before it. In Hesiod's Theogony, he is given 50 heads. Later, tradition settled on 3, one for each domain of time, perhaps, past, present, and future, or birth, life, and death. The myths never explain. They just describe the growl, a sound that vibrates in your chest before it reaches your ears. You pass him. He does not stop you. The dead are always welcome. Beyond the gate, the path widens and the cavern opens into something vast. You can no longer see the ceiling. The darkness above is infinite, untouched by any light, and before you, 3 figures sit on thrones carved from black stone. These are the judges of the dead: Minos, Rhadamanthus, Aeacus. All 3 were mortal once, sons of Zeus who ruled with such fairness on earth that they were appointed to rule here after death. In Plato's Gorgias, Socrates describes this tribunal. The dead arrive stripped of everything, no body, no beauty, no status. The judges see only the soul, raw and exposed, marked by every act of cruelty, every moment of kindness, every decision made in the dark when no one was watching. They look at you. They do not speak. They do not need to. And then the verdict comes. Not as a word, but as a direction. A path opens. For most souls, the path leads to the Asphodel Meadows. This is the default. If you lived an ordinary life, neither heroic nor wicked, neither remarkable nor shameful, this is where you go. And it is exactly what it sounds like. A vast grey plain stretches in every direction. The ground is covered in asphodel, pale, ghostly flowers that grow without sunlight. The air here has no temperature. It is neither warm nor cold. There is no wind, no weather, no change. The souls who walk these fields do not suffer, but they do not feel joy either. They exist, and they wander, and they remember nothing, and they wait for something that never comes. Homer describes this in Book 11 of the Odyssey. Odysseus visits the underworld and finds the shade of Achilles here, the greatest warrior who ever lived, reduced to a faint shadow wandering an endless field. And Achilles tells him something remarkable. I would rather be a slave to the poorest farmer on earth than king of all the dead. That is the Asphodel Meadows. Not punishment, just emptiness. And somehow that is worse. Past the meadows, there is a place where the air changes. It becomes heavier, warmer. You can feel it on your skin. A pressure like the atmosphere before a storm that never breaks. This is the morning fields. Here dwell the souls consumed by unrequited love, those who loved so deeply and so hopelessly that it killed them, or close enough. Dido is here, queen of Carthage, who burned herself alive on a funeral pyre when Aeneas abandoned her. According to Virgil, when Aeneas later passed through the underworld and saw her shade, he wept and called out to her. She turned away without a word. The morning fields are quiet. There is no wailing here. That belongs to the Cocytus. This is a different kind of sorrow, the kind that has no sound, the kind that fills a space the way water fills a glass. Completely, silently, until there is no room for anything else. Beyond the fields, the landscape shifts again. The darkness lifts. For the first time since you arrived, there is light. Elysium. The light is golden and soft, like late afternoon in a place you cannot name. The grass is green, real green, not the grey of the meadows. There are trees with broad leaves and the sound of water moving over smooth stones and a warmth that reaches through your skin to something deeper. It feels like the memory of every good day you ever lived, compressed into a single, continuous present. This is where the heroes live, the righteous, the chosen. In Pindar's odes, Elysium is described as a place where the sun shines when it is dark on the surface world, where the blessed spend eternity in music, games, and rest, where there is no labor, no hunger, no regret. Not everyone reaches Elysium. In the earliest versions of the myth, only those related to the gods could enter. Later, as Greek thought evolved, influenced by Orphic mystery cults and Platonic philosophy, the criteria shifted. It became about how you lived, about justice, about the marks the judges saw on your soul. But there is one more place, the last stop, the deepest. You feel Tartarus before you see it. The ground slopes downward, and the temperature drops so suddenly your breath becomes visible. Then, just as abruptly, it reverses. A wave of scorching heat from below, carried by the glow of the phlegethon as it circles the abyss. Tartarus is not a place of death. It is a place of punishment. According to Hesiod, it lies as far below Hades as the earth lies below the sky. A bronze anvil dropped from the surface would fall for 9 days before reaching it. Inside, the Titans, the old gods defeated by Zeus, are imprisoned in chains of darkness. And beside them, the mortals who committed offenses so extreme that the universe itself demanded balance. Tantalus stands in a pool of clear water. He has been standing there for thousands of years. Every time he bends to drink, the water recedes. Above him, branches of fruit hang just within reach. Ripe figs, pomegranates, pears. Every time he reaches up, the wind pulls them away. His crime. He was invited to dine with the gods on Olympus. He stole their ambrosia. And then, to test whether the gods were truly all-knowing, he killed his own son, Pelops, butchered him, and served him as stew. The gods knew. They reassembled the boy, and they sent Tantalus to this, an eternity of hunger and thirst within arm's reach of satisfaction. Sisyphus pushes a boulder up a hill. He has been pushing it since the beginning of recorded mythology. Every time he nears the top, the boulder rolls back down, and he walks to the bottom and begins again. His crime was trying to cheat death itself. He tricked Thanatos, bound the god of death in chains, and for a brief moment, no one on earth could die. When the gods freed Thanatos and restored the natural order, Sisyphus was sent here. His punishment is not pain. It is futility, the certainty that effort will never be rewarded, that the top of the hill will never be reached, that the task is designed to be impossible. And Ixion, bound to a wheel of fire that spins without stopping. His crime was threefold. He murdered his father-in-law, betrayed the hospitality of Zeus, and attempted to seduce Hera. For this, Hermes bound him to the wheel, a wheel made of flame and wind and eternity itself. In Tartarus, there is no end, no reprieve, no appeal. Time does not pass here. It simply accumulates, pressing down like weight of water at the bottom of the sea. You step back from the edge. The Greeks built all of this, every river, every field, every chamber of judgment and punishment, from nothing but language and imagination. They had no photographs of the afterlife, no telescopes pointed inward. They had questions, the same questions you have, standing at the edge of a precipice in a place you cannot prove exists. What happens when you die? Where do you go? Does it matter how you lived? And here is the remarkable thing. 26 centuries later, in a world of particle accelerators and brain scans and telescopes that can see the edge of the observable universe, we still do not have better answers. The ancient Greeks looked into the void and saw rivers and judges and fields of grey flowers and a ferryman who demanded a coin. They did what humans have always done when confronted with the unknowable. They told a story. They built a map of a place no one has ever returned from, and the map endured, because the question behind it, the question of whether anything waits on the other side, has never been answered. You're still standing at the edge of the Acheron. The water is still black. Charon's boat is gone. And whatever comes next, no one, not Homer, not Plato, not the greatest minds of the ancient world, can tell you. That is the other side.